I'm super excited with this Goosebumps. I grew up on Goosebumps, and to see it come back in a new way was pretty exciting. And I really like the way I guess you guys kind of translated it because I think even adults can enjoy it. The show has a tagline scarier than you remember. And I do agree with that. So I just want to say the new series definitely takes like a new stab at the beloved best-selling book franchise by R.L. Stine. And why did you both want to be involved in this production?
Well, I mean, I did the movie, the first movie, and Neil Moritz, who's the producer of the movies, he called and said he had the rights to do it as a TV series, and would you be interested? And I was like, amazing, of course. And I immediately called Nick, and we've done plenty of things together, and are good friends. And I love working with him. And it was, Nick jumped at it, and it was really a great opportunity to work with a friend, which is always like the best version of everything. And it's a big sandbox, the Goosebumps series. It lends itself well to doing different things because at the end of the day, they're great stories. It's an anthology series. We decided to do it serialized. But it's genre, so you can kind of dive in and do your own thing with it and still stay true to the spirit of what those original books are.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I'll just say when Rob called me about it, I love working with him, and we kind of speak the same language, and we totally understood what the tone would be, and mainly what I make are like romantic people fighting with each other. That's like most of my movies and stuff are. And so to get to do something that was horror, which I love horror, but I've never done it before. To get to do, so something to do genre, some things, to get to work in visual effects, which like Rob has had so much experience doing and is so good at it, and to get to do a high school story, a coming of age story, and not to mention to get to be in the Goosebumps world, just seemed all of those things seemed really fun. And we kind of, as soon as we started talking about it, we were like, oh, we settled on a tone very quickly, that made us both laugh and was intriguing to us.
And how is this going to bring something new, like a new story to Goosebumps? I kind of like how this is also the same set of characters. I found that really interesting that it's like one story being told with all these different stories like intertwined. So I'm excited to see because I know you've done puppets. So the Muppets, and you always have puppets like in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So I'm really curious to get to the Slappy episode to see how you're gonna handle that. I think that's gonna be really fun.
I only work with puppets. It's part of my in my deal memo is you will only work with puppets. So that was actually um yes, wait, what was the question? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So how is this gonna bring like something new to the Goosebumps franchise?
Oh, I mean, I think, from the get-go, we wanted this to be serialized, and the original books are anthologies, they're each standalone books. We wanted to be serialized. I just, as a matter of just taste, I just prefer a serialized TV show. I like to get invested in TV characters. I like that experience, as with Rob. And so by its very nature, just making it serialized meant we had to do some invention because the books are very spare and they're very like each one is a standalone thing. And the show that we pitched is the show that was made. It's we took 5 stories from R.L. Stine's massive library and kind of created some characters and intertwined their stories and made them a group and created a mythology again from R.L. Stine's work, to kind of bind it all together. So that was kind of, we did this with a lot of help. There were a lot of writers involved with this project, not just the 2 of us, but we will take all the credit.
And I guess Rob, for you, kind of doing the Jack Black movie, that was a little more comedic. I guess how was it changing the focus to like a little more serious with this?
It was fun. I mean, I love making that movie. I love working with Jack on multiple projects, and a lot of fond memories about that. And it's just, I think, try to do every project. You try to do something new and fresh and original. You just don't want to repeat anything. And so it was a great opportunity to just sort of reboot and come at it from a different angle. And we wanted to get a little closer to the original books, even though we couldn't do it as an anthology. We wanted to do it serialized, just mapping those stories to the characters. Once we came up with that concept, it really just popped. It was like, the whole thing flowed after that. And also just aging it up, and elevating it and making it more mature. So it would appeal to not only, younger teens, but, the people who read Goosebumps in the 90s are now in their 30s and 40s. And we don't want to lose sight of that. And we want to make a show that worked for them and was mature enough for them. We want to make a show that worked for people who've never read Goosebumps, know nothing about it, for younger readers who are getting into it now. So it really is kind of a 4-quadrant show, but we also felt like for the scares to be authentic and for the relationships to be authentic and honest, and for we both have teenagers, and we know what real teenagers are like, and oftentimes they're not the ones you see on TV. So we wanted to age it up so that our teens could really reflect what real teenagers are. And that's also a testament to our cast, which is unreal. I mean, they brought this whole thing to life in an amazing way.
Yeah, the cast is great. Another thing I really like with it being like center focused on a specific like set of characters is that we kind of grow more attached to them, rather than, not to say like an anthology you can't, but with this it's like you're more you care more about the characters. So say, like, without giving too much away, like Isabella, it fed on her insecurities, and I was like, oh, this is epic, because like I just can't wait to see like how far it really goes. But I really enjoyed it so far.
Oh, that's great. Awesome.
And then I guess how as producers, like, how involved were you with the writing process?
Very involved.
Very.
Because our tone, while we both speak the same language in terms of tone, it's confusing to a lot of people, to be like, it's funny, but it's scary, but it's dramatic, but it's real, but there's horror. It's like, it's a weird, again, Rob and I know it. We don't have to explain it to each other, but there was a lot of because a lot of people, writers, and, are working very much within their own, within genre, and a lot of horror stuff by its very nature is very serious, and then comedy can be just funny, and so there was a lot of explaining, and that's also true of any TV show. The creators of a TV show are the ones who know it best, and generally, and you hope to find writers who can mimic it and figure it out. But you're doing a lot of, particularly with the first season, you're doing a lot of it kind of explaining to the writers, because they're not in your head, But we got a bunch of great writers who figured it out. And I also learned a lot from them too, because there's a lot of genre stuff that we had to crack that I'm not, again, coming from a world of mainly people fighting about romance, like this whole different, and we needed to create a whole mythology and make a whole thing that made sense from a big mythology perspective, which was part of the challenge and was exciting for me personally. But I don't have, I would say over and over again, I don't know, is this a stupid idea? I have no idea. Is this, I don't know. I know what I like to watch, but I don't know when it veers into being silly or not. So,
And we should say we had a really good, diverse group of writers also sharing their kind of personal perspectives on high school, and certainly writers much younger than us who are closer to the high school years than we are. But that, it's a huge collaboration television. And we had Hillary Winston, who came in and just like got us organized and on the right path too. So there was a lot of people involved in the show to make it great.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like casting Justin Long, he's like the perfect balance. Like the comedy, like he's just so natural.
Yeah.
His performance in this show is amazing. He's at times, he's like, at the same time will be funny and goofy and scary, and it's also like heartbreaking. Like he's doing a lot of stuff that's and he really goes for it. I'm really into what he did with this strange character we created.
I guess lastly, what's going to surprise people about the show?
Well, I mean, hopefully they'll be surprised that it's good. I mean, that's surprise.
I agree.
And we're hoping people will be, really into the tone of it. I think they'll be surprised. You know, people are familiar with Goosebumps. It'll subvert their expectations in a good way. Same with people who aren't familiar, and bring them onto a ride that's not just the spectacle of all the supernatural horror, but you know, authentic teenagers going through what most people go through growing up and going to high school.
Yeah, I think I hope people are surprised by how relatable it is. The show feels relatable to me, you know, and hopefully that's something that other people experience too as they're watching it. That they're like, oh yeah, that was me in high school. Not the horror part necessarily, but the like the experience of what these kids are going through. You know, because that's always the goal with any kind of TV show or movie, that people identify themselves in the story.
Yeah, you guys did a really good job of modernizing it and, like you said, making it enjoyable for 30-year-olds, because I definitely was like Goosebumps, and like it's exciting.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.